Hey, my people, welcome to the My Two Cents, the Mgogo podcast. I want to talk about democracy and what it means to us as millennials and the younger generation. Anyway, Kenyans at large, and where we are, the state of democracy in our country. I will give a background on Kenyans' history when it came to democracy. Um, I'll talk about since, from how I know democracy from, and those guys who started knowing things to do with governance, democracy, politics, just from the tail end of, Moi's era. And he cared about was Kenya. And most people who grew up around that time will tell you that, the flag was everything, and KANU, the ruling party. And what he cared about is patriotism of its citizen. And that's how that's how nationalists are all about. People putting their country first. Like, for him, it wasn't about, where you come from, who you are, where it was, as long as you're Kenyan and you're under one flag. During national holidays, you'll find all the shops either closed and Kenyan flags over there. So pretty much that's how Moi used to operate. And he allowed some democracy, but democracy was down here. The councillors and the MPs, as much as it was, at some point it was the one-party state, and then it came to sort of multi-partyism, but still, the dominant party was KANU. So it was down, but at the national level, of course, nobody could challenge him. So the first liberation came about, and people were fighting for, they started fighting for multipartyism. And then multipartyism led to, as we call it, regime change during the first liberation. So the people who were leading us through the first liberation, we all believed as a people that we needed to be free. We needed to be given a choice on, how we need the direction of this country to go. Moi kept on cautioning us, like, are you ready for this? And I'm like, yeah. And we have to give props to him that he fought it to an extent. It's like, you can have an opinion about it, about, he was overwhelmed or whatever, but he was like, okay, fine. I'm going to retire. I'm gonna leave the country to you guys who have been fighting for democracy. So there are so many people. There were Malwas, the Kibakis, the Railas, the Ngilus, the Maitas. Everybody was around that fight for, democracy and liberation and freedom. So because we had one goal to remove Moi in 2002, everybody was united against that, united against removing Moi. So there was unity because the purpose was one. So people didn't think about regions, people didn't talk about, individuals. It was all about getting Moi out. Doesn't matter who the president is, but just getting Moi out. So people voted overwhelming. So before voting, like, people, the safe bet was Kibaki. And people are happy about it. All the ambitions were taken aside, and Kibaki was overwhelmingly voted in and became the president. So becomes the president. Now I'll take you back a little bit. Look at the figures that played a part in Kibaki being elected the president. It was regional figures, regional kingpins that came together and decided we're going to back Kibaki. Regardless of my ambitions, we're going to back Kibaki. So the country was divided by regions, but towards a single uniting goal. So once Kibaki came in, all these people who were kingpins in their region were like, you're the president, we're peers. They were given all these ministerial positions and all that. But it wasn't enough. I mean, the ultimate goal is everybody has the ambitions of becoming the president. I mean, you're already a kingpin. What else is there? Just being the kingpin of the whole country, and that's the presidency. So fractions started, appearing in, Kibaki's government, the first government of Kibaki, and people started going back to their voting bloc, to their regions, to their tribesmen, and saying, you know what, we supported this guy, but he's not giving us this. He's not doing this for us. He's not doing this for us. And mind you, after all these years of Moi, this guy has just come in, and people have started, And the biggest problem was, with the old constitution, you could not accommodate everyone because it was a whole pool of people. You could not accommodate everybody in that pool. So, fast forward, 2007 happened. Why did 2007 happen? Because all these leaders who we had given the custody of democracy and independence started becoming selfish. And that's what democracy does to people, to leaders. Selfishness, and they were like, you know what, we can do whatever we want. And if I tell my community that this is the way to go, we'll go that way. So 2007 became 40 versus 1, if you remember that, which started, it was a Pandora box, like, one thing led to another, and whatever happens, happen. But if we go back, Moi warned us, told us, you guys are not mature enough to handle politics, or not politics, but democracy. So it came very soon, and to me personally, I think it was a good thing that it came about that soon, because it told us one thing. It told us, like, hang on, take a step back. Democracy was not about getting Moi out of power. It was about understanding what freedom and what being free entails. So Kibaki, I mean, nobody disputes that when Kibaki came in, he did what he did. Like, economically, he took us from the trenches. In fact, some of his economic blueprints of this country are being implemented up to date. So he came in there. He might not have been the best politicians. Maybe if we would have been a politician, maybe we would have avoided a lot of things. But he was not there to politic. He came in there to deliver. Deliver of which he did economically. Apart from, if it wasn't for the 2007 election, I think he would have taken us far. So 2007 came in, and Kibaki had clanged into power, and then Sumkate government came in, of which, I didn't support the whole whatever happened in 2007, especially from the government side, but that's a story for another day. So we went through the second Kibaki administration. The new constitution came in, and mind you, Kibaki was against the new constitution because what happened in 2007, Kibaki was an old-timer. He saw what happened in the Moi era, and he looked at the democracy and freedom. We were supposed to transition into democracy and the new constitution and all that. But it was bam, bam, bam. And because it was the leaders and their own selfish reasons, they didn't look at the electorate, the citizen. What state are they in? Can they handle all this? Of course, we couldn't. But anyway, the new constitution came in. And a set of all new leaders came in. And then 2013 came about. Now, 2013 came about. Sorry, excuse me. 2013 came about. Uhuru Ruto. Now, forget about the whole ICC thing and all that. Uhuru Ruto won the election because it was the first time us millennials were voting, and we were so excited about it. And we were like, this is one of us. He's a young guy like us. And these old toughs, they've been fighting and taking us the wrong way all this time. Let's elect our own, our peer, who listen to us. So we're excited with our first vote that actually we thought would make a difference. I mean, some of us voted in 2002, 2007, but it was all about, we didn't understand what we were voting for. The first time we ever understood what we were voting for was in 2013. So yeah, we voted overwhelmingly Uhuru and Ruto. Not because of anything, because whatever they're telling us, it resonated with us in terms of them being young. They knew how to talk to us as young people. They came into power. Now, 2017, their second term, we were still hangover because we were like, man, whatever these guys do, they're still one of us. We voted for. There was that sentimentalness about them. And that's why they got voted in again. So that's the history of elections and democracy in this country. Why am I bringing that history? And I'm not going to talk about the recent elections and where we are right now. I'm coming to that. But why am I bringing that history? I want you to understand what the first liberation was all about. The second liberation was all about. Was it about individuals fighting to be powerful or to stay as custodian of quote-unquote democracy? Or was it us citizens fighting for our rights and for us being free? You be the judge of that. So now, let's talk about the state we are right now. We've got a new constitution. We are smarter when it comes to what politics and democracy and freedom is all about. But what are we seeing? So, the custodian of democracy since 97, 2002, up to now, some of them are still there. But they brought in a culture of, once you get there, one, you have to be rich. And there's a whole clique of being a politician. As they say, there's no politician there's no enemy in politics. So as long as you're in the system, they know each other in the system. You are secondary to them. But we are the ones that make noise all over the place. You get? So they have known how to play around with us, the citizen. Selfishness came into our leaders, and they Anybody who got into the system, they were handed over that selfishness. Oh, you are the custodian of democracy in this country, so you can dictate whatever you want. That's what happened. So it eroded everything that this citizen fought for. It boiled down to the few that were up there. So now, going forward, we keep on asking ourselves, like, where do we, where should, where are we heading? Where are we right now? As a country, that's the question I started with. Where are we as a country? My 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 2 cents of this. First of all, are we honest with ourselves about freedom and democracy? If we are, how much do we know or understand, first of all, our rights, especially the new constitution that we fought very hard for? How much do we know about the new constitution? Let's talk about devolution. What the new constitution brought was political devolution. Let's start there first. Political devolution. So that means that you can start understanding and teaching yourself about democracy and freedom of picking your leader from your village. Because an MCA is like a village leader who's who can access his 2-3 villages in no time and can talk to his people. That is devolution down there. So how much do we understand the role of an MCA? How much are we putting an MCA accountable for their role? Do we even know our MCA? Most of us don't. You see, that's where we should start. And then from there, we go to our MP. We go to our women rep. We go to our senator. We go to our governor. And we go to our president. So don't come here and tell me about what the president has done or not done while you don't even know the role of your MCA. You don't know who your MCA is. You don't know who you're going to vote for as an MCA. How many of you have gone for public participation in anything in this country? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. So let's be honest with ourselves. Let's get away from politicians sensationalizing everything. Let's forget about individuals. Let's talk about what we want from this democracy that people actually died for. Let's ask ourselves, what do we need, not who do we need? Because who do we need is what has brought us here right now, not what we needed. Let's go to our villages. Let's talk to our peers about what we need. What is the thing that's affecting us every single day? Do I have a roof over my head, me and my family? Do I have a meal? Can I access my health? Basic human stuff, are they being provided for? That's all we need to care about. So my 2 cents is this. Let's have a conversation of what we need as a people. And then we can listen to the politicians, what solution they have from what we need, not them telling us what they think we need. So this and more topics I'll have guests that we'll discuss more, and put in your comments down there and let me know what's your take on this, and your input, your questions, and all that. And yeah, let's keep this conversation going. So my name is Dennis Maitha, and this is Mgogo Podcast, and tune in for the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.